a little stuffy. I'm getting over a cold. It's just kind of still in my head, but I'm getting better. And I really wanted to dive into a project. Now I'm back from Texas and I'm back here in LA for a little bit. I've been wanting to paint these cabinets in our kitchen for a while. So this is our kitchen currently. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe because we do have some fun things coming up in this kitchen. I want to eventually renovate it, and I have been working on some plans to break down the center wall and open this whole kind of section of the house that's kind of tucked away as a whole kitchen in and of itself. So we don't really use the dining room. I kind of want an eat-in kitchen with a beautiful island. So we're gonna be doing that, getting some bids and just knowing how much we need to save for over the next probably 1 to 2 years. Until then, we can up the style of this space. The kitchen cabinets in here are painted kind of like a cream, like a yellow cream color. It throws a really weird light in here most days. Most days the top cabinets don't match the bottom cabinets. It has just such a yellow undertone. Since these cabinets are older and we are going to be replacing them later on, I want to try something I've never tried before. I just want to experiment because there's kind of like low commitment. This is Strong Influence by Clark & Kensington. It's basically an aubergine, deep eggplant black color. It looks really good with the flooring in here. All of the floors in here are brick. So it has this kind of like color palette already. I also have some beautiful inspiration pieces that I picked up in Texas for this kitchen. Piece of art, these injected glass candle holders, and this linen that's so pretty. So I'm kind of taking inspiration from that, although I already had this color. My brain is on the right track. So it's always really important to see the color in the space. Experience it at all times of day. So I did get a sample of it and painted it onto a foam core board. I painted 2 coats so that I could really see the color. Here it is. This is just a satin finish. I'm contemplating doing satin or semi-gloss. Look how deep. It still goes really well with the stainless steel, which is obviously an accent in here we're not going to be replacing. So all of the appliances and the hood is stainless steel. We'll figure out the hardware color, whether we keep it black or we paint it a color. But with the tile, it looks great. Maybe this is something that we'll love in here with the brick and we'll introduce that somehow into the renovation. Or it's something that we'll know that we don't want to do again, but I am going to be the guinea pig on painting my cabinets dark black purple. Let's do it. Okay, so a few things that I learned by painting the kitchen cabinets in Texas that we built is a numbering system or some kind of plan of attack is best. Like, it keeps everything straight, because to have to figure out after these have been painted where they go back to, it's just gonna take more time. So if I number them now with some tape and then it goes on the hanger when we hang them outside to spray, we're gonna be a huge step in the right direction. So that's what we're gonna do first. Then we're gonna take off all the doors, all the hardware, so that everything's separate, and go from there.
All of the doors.
Pay attention to the sound, the one that's coming from you now. Don't mean to turn it upside down. I really wanna hear you out. I can't know how it is to be where you so calmly sit. When I'm further my own, there it is, catching only part of it. To just be, to really
Something else that I learned through the process of doing the cabinets before is that it is best to spray your cabinets. I've done some by hand and it's come out really well, but spraying always is like the best. I will show you my favorite sprayer. It just got here. I ordered one for here because we're going to be doing a lot of painting projects. When I spray, I like to actually hang the cabinet doors so that they're on a hanger and they can hang freely, and I can spray both sides at the same time. So I don't have to spray one side laying down and then wait for it to dry and flip it and have like marks or anything. Hanging is just like the best. So to do that, I use cup hooks. This is a pack of 40 pieces, which is perfect because we have 20 cabinet doors. So these are cup hooks, you know, to literally hang a cup in your cupboard. And we're gonna screw 2 of them into every door. What I learned is these are really hard to just put in freehand. I'm actually gonna hang them on the side where the hinges are so that I never see this hole once I remove it. It's possible to get them in here like that, but it takes so much effort. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pre-drill a little hole. That way it's like so much easier on me. A little drill bit, and it's gonna make our lives so much easier. And the first couple are fine, but when you do like your 10th, 11th, 12th, 20th cabinet door and you're putting in 40 of these, it kills your fingers. Just to help me get that started. Oh my gosh, so much easier. Do that.
This set up a little sanding cleaning station right here, right off of the kitchen. That way we can lightly sand these cabinets and clean them before we paint. And I'm going to use a 220 grit. This is not the finest you can buy, but it's pretty fine. I don't want to rough it up. I don't need to get off anything major. I just need to kind of smooth some things out and make it have a good finish.
If I could give you more than half of me.
Okay, now that we've sanded, we just need to clean. You know what I mean? So I've just got no solution, no soap, no anything, just a damp cloth. And just gonna make sure that all of this like sawdust, kind of like sanding dust, is off. Romeo has these hangers that are actually way better than what I use. I use like really cheap wire hangers that I ordered on Amazon last time, and they would bend and warp. And he has these that he actually wants me to paint black after, so he doesn't care if they get paint on them right now, which works perfect for me because I get to just have a more structured hanger like that. Then we put the cabinet number on the hanger, so the hanger stays with this the whole time, so we know which one is for which. So I tested three paint sprayers or 2 paint sprayers while we were doing the cottage, right? One was the lower end, and I tried to paint the exterior of our house with it, and it did not go well. This one, double the price of the Wagner one, but it's so much better. I painted the outside of the house, primed and painted. I painted inside on ceilings. I painted all the cabinet for the kitchen. This is the best paint sprayer that I found without spending a fortune. Definitely recommend investing in a good paint sprayer because it's going to save you so much time and it's going to give you a better finish. Okay, we're going to be using the Ben Zinzer primer. I love this primer. It goes onto something that you don't know if you can quite paint, and it just allows you to paint that thing. So like if you're painting IKEA furniture, if you're painting you know, things like this that we don't exactly know what these cabinets were painted with, and it does have a shine to it, although we are helping it by sanding so that the paint can like really stick. This is going to help it even more, and it's just going to give us a great first thin layer of primer to give us a really great finish. They also have a red one that's a shellac version that is also great for IKEA furniture. It's like stronger, it's really stinky. Definitely research the two depending on your project. Okay, this is a great paint sprayer, but there's a little bit of a learning curve trying to figure out how to use it. You don't have to repurpose your paint into any other container. You just go straight from the gallon. There are 2 hoses. A big one with this little like metal netting on it, and then the smaller tube. One like pulls the paint into the machine, so it sucks the paint, and the other spits the paint out. And the reason there's 2 is that it's airless, so there's no air bubbles. It makes sure that the system has a really consistent spray, and it doesn't have any bubbles or air pockets in it. So it has to kind of, you know, circle through. We're gonna stick the netting part inside. paint, as it goes through the machine, we want the paint to go back into the primer so we can keep using every drip of it. So we want both tubes in and turn it on. So basically what we did is called priming the machine. We just primed it with paint. It's got paint all inside. It's got no air bubbles. It's ready to actually spray, but you always want to test spray a little bit. You don't want to go right in on your cabinet door or whatever you're painting, because it could spit. It needs to get adjusted. Ooh, okay, it's coming out really strong, so we're gonna adjust the. See it spit a little bit. Better. I've just kind of wrapped the drawers with a small little trash bag so that I don't actually paint the brown part on the inside. I'm just painting the base of it, the front. Okay, I got everything primed, taking kind of a break in between, so it's been about 4 hours. We are ready to go in with the first coat of our color. We were gonna be using that Clark & Kensington color, Strong Influence. I got their premium line so that it was the most durable, stain resistant, scratch resistant version. I haven't ever used a Clark & Kensington for cabinetry, but I did try and dupe this color with Bear and it didn't work. It was too purple, so I didn't want to do that. I am going over them and just making sure that there's no drips or any rough spots, and if there are, I'm just lightly sanding them again. 1, 2, 3, go. I'm nervous. Just always remember to spray off the piece. So I'm starting off of the cabinet door, I'm spraying the cabinet door, and I'm continuing my hand so I don't have an abrupt stop on the cabinet door itself. Like that. That's so pretty. Oh. Wow. Can you see? It's so good. I am gonna do 2 coats. So this one's a light one. We're gonna let that dry, and then we're gonna do another coat and bring them and hang them inside to dry for like a day or so.
Side by side, we stay there in all the colors. Sunrise, lonesome dove, folded on the lawn chair in all the colors. Stop giving back. Honeysuckle, fresh cut grass. I could really use some stuff like that. Talk to me and tell me all that you've seen, all the colors.
Good morning, guys. I got the last coat of paint on just before the sunset last night and brought them all inside and hung them on some clothing racks to dry, just evenly spaced apart so none of them touch, so they can have a really nice dry day today. While we tackle painting all of the actual boxes to the cabinets, we're gonna do the same exact process on all of the cabinet boxes as we did on the cabinet doors. We're gonna prime it first with the gray Zenzer primer and then go over it with 2 coats of the paint, but we're not spraying in. We're not gonna spray inside. We're gonna be using a combination of a roller and a brush. So it's definitely gonna need 2 coats. And I feel like with every project, but especially in the kitchen, like sanding and cleaning, you know, like the oils that you cook with and stuff, kind of stick to the surfaces. So I'm gonna sand all of these like kind of like edges where the hinges go, and any imperfections, and clean really well. I feel like that's how it's gonna last.
Four feet on the stripes in the Alabama highway. Out there in the open, just a wishing and a hoping. I could smell the pines when I let you in the doorway. Took the seat next to mine like you've been there before. I'm befriended and then lose ya. I could never stand to lose ya. I get by when you're at my side. I'm befriended and then lose ya.
So the first coat of the pretty paint is now dry, and it is so dreamy in here. Obviously paint gets darker as it dries. This is exactly the color that I wanted in here. I love it so much. It feels so rich. Since we're painting all of this by hand, we got to go in with a second coat to give it a really nice finish. It's very streaky right now. Totally going to change how it looks too once we get all the cabinet doors installed so that we can really see the impact of the color, but already this is adding some much needed warmth and depth to the kitchen. Good morning, guys. Everything is dry. All the paint is dry. I love this color. First step was really painting the cabinets, and then I like to take projects in stages. It's like, let me do one thing and then make another decision about how to further make the space magical or further tie all of the pieces together, and so that over, you know, a span of a project, I really get the outcome I want. It's hard for me to wrap my head around, okay, I want to paint this color cabinet and I want to use this hardware and I want to paint the walls this color and I want to do these things. Those decisions are really difficult for me in the beginning because I'm very visual. It's almost like I like to start somewhere and then let the project evolve. So I started with the cabinet color because that I was sure of. Now we get to see the cabinet color with all the stainless steel appliances because we're not replacing anything, any of that right now. Still have some years on them and they're working perfectly fine. We're working with the stainless steel, even though stainless steel wouldn't be actually my preferred color for appliances, but we're using what we got. So now that we can see the cabinet color with the stainless steel, we can now decide things like, are we gonna paint the walls in here? And what hardware color is going to work best? One decision I've made, yes, I definitely think I want to paint in here. White walls just don't do anything for me. For now, we need to pick the hardware color. So when I thought about the hardware in here, I was like, I really don't want to invest in more hardware and switch everything out if we're going to be renovating in the future anyways. I don't know what I'm gonna like then or what direction the kitchen is going to take. So I really want, and I'm all about reusing and repurposing where I can. And although I don't love the shape of the original hardware,
It has some character. I mean, it's got something going on. I want to repurpose these. This is the handle and this is the hinge. Now we need to clean some of the old paint off because they didn't actually take the hardware off of the cabinets when they painted. So we'll just use some orange stripper and actually get that off. So first we need to decide, is the black going to work? And I think it's a no, because I don't think you can see it. Then we need to decide, okay, if the black doesn't work, what color are we gonna paint them? Like, what are we gonna spray them? I know that spray painting your handles, especially these where they're gonna get a lot of use, isn't going to last forever. But your worst case is that you just you take them off and you paint them again. So I made us a little sampling board. I went ahead and put 2 of the cabinets up here so that I could visualize it. Again, very visual person. I needed to visualize the different kind of colors. So I pulled out some hardware that I actually have in my stash just to see the color. Now, this is not the hardware type that we would be using, just to see what brass would look like on this color cabinet with the stainless steel appliances. What a ceramic, because I had this ceramic knob that I actually got in London that I want to find a really special project to use them on. Like, what a ceramic knob, because we used a lot of ceramic handles and knobs in the cottage and I love them. Although I can't paint these to look like ceramic. They're a very heavy, like hammered kind of look. Brass is always the color I would always lean, but in this kitchen, for some reason, with the stainless steel and the cabinet color, I don't like it. I'm not leaning like brass. So I know I don't want to paint these like a brassy tone or a gold tone. I don't think that it works. I knew kind of in my gut that going with a stainless look, like a pewter or a stainless steel kind of color, was going to be like a no-brainer. It was going to look best because it kept the color palette. It tied the appliances into the hardware. So this is the little air kind of like circulation for our garbage disposal and dishwasher thing. And I can take it off so I can see what it's going to look like. If we spray these like a stainless steel, that's what it would look like. Naturally, that's our best option. I am thinking that I just want to paint the actual handle, not the hinge, because I actually don't think I want to call attention to the hinge. I feel like that would be a lot of specks of silver, like pieces of silver all over the cabinets, and we're just going to do the handle because I think that that's going to look the chicest and the most complimenting for everything that's happening in the room as it is right now.
So after now the second trip to the hardware store, I was convinced I was gonna have to mix it. I was gonna have to start with like a gold kind of metallic base because this is not just silver. Stainless steel has like a gold hint to it. It's kind of subtle, but it is there. So when I looked at all of the chrome silver spray paints, it didn't have that same undertone. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to make it. I'm gonna have to like start with gold, then kind of like spray it on top to try and create the same look. On the off chance, I was like, let me go to the craft store just to see. So I went to Joann's because sometimes the craft stores has some weird, unusual type of spray paints to do like really special projects. And they did. They had this metallic effect acrylic paint. When I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, it's identical. Now, my only fear is durability. You know, I've never used this before. I'll be the guinea pig. I'll try it out because I would rather get something that's this close and has the right color than try and make it. So now I can save all that money. I can return those.
I don't like being on my own. I could use someone to hold, and I've been trying to fill the void, but my bed is getting cold. Cause I don't have you, I don't have us, at least not anymore.
So how these handles work, they also have these, the screws also show from the front. So I have to paint them. So I had this piece of foam, floral foam upstairs to stick these straight up so that I can paint the tops of them and they won't touch each other, they won't fall over, and then we could just spray across the top and these are done. And it's kind of satisfying to put these in here.
Waiting for love, I don't know what else I can do. it's
Okay, for the
hopeless.
hinges, they just have paint. You see along the edges and things? Just overpainted them. Didn't take the hinges off when they painted. So I just have some citrus strip. This is what we used on the beams in the front room to strip the paint. It's not toxic, you can have it inside. So I'm just gonna wipe some little, it's not a lot of paint, and it's probably come off like within like 15 or 20 minutes or so. So I'm just gonna like kind of like brush the citrus on it and put it in this bucket and leave it for a little bit, and then we can kind of clean them and they're ready. We're ready to put back on all the cabinet doors.
Now I'm just waiting for love, waiting for love. Try to forget about you makes me restless. Waiting for love, waiting for love. I don't know what else I can do, it's hopeless to be holding on to you.
These are the wire brushes that we use to do the stripping on the beams too. Beautiful. Okay. I can't wait to renovate because there are just certain things about this kitchen that just bother me. Like the whole refrigerator just sticks out like that with the space, and then the fur down, how the refrigerator doesn't open all the way, it hits the wall. Okay, let the reinstall begin. We hung all of the cabinet doors on the racks in that other room in order so that I could just go in and grab and put the first one up and keep going. I'm just gonna lay the cabinet doors down on a napkin just so it's not like on a rough texture, so that I can screw on the hinges and then take off the cup hooks.
Now I'm just waiting for love, waiting for love. Try to forget about you makes me restless. Waiting for love, waiting for love. I don't know what else I can do, it's hopeless to be holding on to you. Hopeless to be holding on to you.
You guys, the more I look at these handles, the more and more I don't like them. Although I would never pick a pewter or silver handle. That's just a personal preference. I don't like that. It's the shape I don't like. I feel like painting them like this, for some reason my brain went to like Western, like kind of like a Western shape, and now I can't unsee it. We're trying to reuse, but I don't like it. I don't like them, I don't like them, I don't like them. I don't like that at all. We tried. When they were black, they leaned like more Spanish. I felt like that was the vibe that I was getting from them. And even though it was black on cream, so it was a contrasting, I didn't like them, but they didn't bother me as much. Now I feel like with them being silver, they call so much attention to themselves that now you look at them, like you look at the handles before you look at the cabinet color, and I wouldn't necessarily want to call attention to something that I really don't like the shape of. They're not doing it. Oh, hear me out. Okay, there is one color, kind of, that we didn't try. Like I can't unsee the Western, and I can't look past the silver. I can't do it. This is a little knob from the desk that I found on Facebook Marketplace, the kind of vintagey one. You see that, like it's a vintage knob. You see how it's like brushed brass? Like it still feels antique. Maybe that's my problem. This does not feel like my style direction, but this is not it. Like I'm taking them off, like it's not happening. What about this kind of color? Like it's like a burnished brass, but it's like deeper Because what I was testing was a knob I already had out in the garage that was like a bright brass. This I don't think goes. This.
It's not gonna fit, but I think I like that better. If I have to walk into my kitchen every day and see that cuter Western shaped handle, I might not be well. Like, it's such a not an important thing, but it's so important in my world.
So I need to find 3-inch burnished brass, like burnished gold.
That is not the vibe. I gotta regroup.